Hi, welcome. My name is Wolfgang, and welcome to a new after action report for the Assault game system featuring Assault Sicily 43. And I wish you a lot of fun in watching. Let us jump in directly. Yeah, the mission briefing. This scenario is called the first encounter, and it is a meeting engagement. Both sides fight with an equal strength, capturing this village. It's somewhere on in Sicily, and it's the 13th of July. You have the factions, US Army and the German Wehrmacht. We will play about 8 turns, and I use here the command points rule only, no command cards, no tactical air and artillery support. In the setup, we have to draw formation cards, set up in the zones, and of course capturing up to 3 targets or objectives. Therefore, here are the setup zones, Zone A and Zone B. Players are rolling for on which zone they can set up their units. And as you see here, the setup zones are close to the borders of the village, so I assume this will be a tight fight around these objectives. So yeah, I'm really happy to see what we have to do here. The order of battle. Yeah, order of battle, German Wehrmacht, order of battle I have drawn randomly, and I have not redrawn formation because I got here a motorized infantry support platoon featuring 2 rifle squads, 1 81mm mortar team, 1 heavy machine gun team, 1 sniper team, and 1 half-track. And additional 2 trucks, which gives me a good possibility to go on a quick miner into the village and to be the first one who owns a target. Yeah, I have a good feeling. This is a veteran formation and gives me 5 command points to activate. And also I got from the 1st Fallschirmjäger Panzer Division a medium tank section with 1 Panzer 3J and 1 Panzer 4G. Yeah, and 1 additional rifle squad in a hardened experience level, so I have quite a tough force, I guess, to get into this village. US order of battle. I have drawn a mechanized rifle platoon and a tank destroyer section, 1 from the 2nd Armored Division and 1 from the 1st, featuring 3 rifle squads, 1 bazooka team, could be interesting inside the village, 1 Cal 30 machine gun team, 2 half-tracks with a machine gun, that's nice, addition 2, and 1 truck on recruit level. And on the tank side I got 2 M10 tank destroyers and 1 Greyhound, so I think it's a good force. But I have now here recruit level, which is some kind of disadvantage because every time the attacker fires on them, they gain 1 suppression symbol automatically. Yeah, let's see how this plays out, but I'm really interested to see what happens. Taking a look to the mission setup, so I set up, of course, the turn record, and I sorted out all the units, and I have now the battlefield in front of me, and we go directly into the setup, and I set it up 1 player after another. The faction, the US faction, has decided to use the right zone to set up, and the Germans are on the left now, and you see here my set up troops. And if we take a look into my mission plan, so then you can see, of course, what I have planned here so far. I divided my German forces to 1 tank supported force in the south here, so which has in Panzer 3J and with tank riders here up, the heavy machine gun, trying to set this up here in the building, and then uses the tank to flank around here, probably to block all enemy approaches here, and the rifles and the mortar team shall go directly onto this target. It's my plan for the Germans here now. And the Panzer IV-G is here to bring it into the center. So somehow to block possible approaches here. And the rifle squad shall go into the building here. And I have one team and a squad on a truck with a good cover behind these buildings to get into the northern target. Let's see how this works out. For the US side, I thought about using one unit with a half track, which have a machine gun and is a good support from the background, going straight to this target because I have some cover for this with these buildings here. The Wolverine is intended to try to block the center for possible approaches because it is a good gun versus enemy tanks. The Greyhound is a kind of reserve unit. I will shift up or down as I need it, and then my main force consisting of a bazooka team, rifle squad, and my Cal 30, which is below the bazooka team in the half track, to bring it in here with a large building, gives a good cover and blocks enemy line of sight. So I will go into this building and occupies it to get a good position. And the M10 of course has a task to block here enemy movement and fire on, and everybody comes here to this free section. Yeah, nice plan. Let's see what happens. So after the first turn, this was mostly movement, of course, gaining ground. So I managed with my rifles to get in here and to have a good jumping point to the northern target. I had less command points to bring out the other squad into this sniper squad into this building. I will do this next turn. The rifle squad on the Panzer IV-G was brought behind this line into the building. Next turn I want to jump into here. And my mortar started in the support phase with bringing in some smoke here to block a line of sight of the Wolverine to be able to drive into the center with my half track and pull out, of course, here my rifle squad into this building, which is a good position now to block enemy approaches. I had no activation more for the Panzer III-J, so I will do this next turn. From the US side, I made my plan to move into the northern part of the village and occupy this objective. So this went in the right direction, and of course I managed to get in all my force here, but my bazooka team is still in the half track to occupy this large building, which has a level elevation of 2. I have now a good spot to fight on and drafting fire on the enemies. So turn 2 is over now, and was somehow more movement actions, but also we started firing on each other. So my rifle squad managed here to go into this building to have some kind of chance to go on the objective or to try to kill this half track, which is easy to kill via infantry because it's open top, so it's not a good armored vehicle. I managed to bring in my sniper squad here now to get into contact with rifles in the objective. Therefore, I pushed in with my rifle squad here from the Panzer IV-G to get access now to the objective. Of course, the US rifles are against this point. My SDK said I went back with it to get better cover because there is the Wolverine, which is deadly for the half track, of course, but I have flipped the marker during the organization phase, so this is my objective now, and this gives some pressure on the US force. Then I brought in, of course, my machine gun with the Panzer III J into the level 2 building. Now I have a good spot starting firing in the next round. And from the US side, of course, I started joint fire here with these units to the rifles and dealt some little damage. I also started firing with my rifle squad here and the AAR03 joint fire to get some damage on the infantry, but nothing happened so far. My Panzer 4G started firing and get some damage and suppression on this unit, and so we have now a kind of, yeah, we are engaged, and let's see what the next turns are happening. Turn 3 was mostly of firing, and we dealt first damage, so I lost my squad here in the north because I went into the close combat with the half-track. I managed to throw some grenades in the open top. It was eliminated, but also the US Greyhound was starting firing, so I shifted it north to support, and I fired on. The problem was, of course, this is a clear terrain, so less cover for my infantry, so the Greyhound rolled a good dice, and so they got eliminated. So first blood for the Germans and the US side. Also, I had a good possibility with joint fire with my Panzer 4G half-track on this infantry unit, dealing some damage and suppression to the infantry here, and also my machine gun to this rifle squad. Unfortunately, my Panzer 3J was trying to make a move and fire action to get the M10, but he made a reaction fire and halved my Panzer 3J, which is bad luck now, but Panzer 3J just got suppressed on it, so it's not a big deal for the Germans here on the south, but we will see how this works out. So turn 4 is over now. I shifted forward again my Panzer 3J, trying to get rid of this M10, so they are fighting and firing each other here again and again. Not more damage happened so far, so it would be interesting how this works out, because then my flank on the south is open. Let's see what happens. I put some more smoke cover into the center because I do not like to have damage on my Panzer 4G with the Wolverine, and vice versa, I guess. So the US side is also happy to have some cover here. On the north, I have quite got some loss to this rifle squad because of firing from the US side. And it's yeah, it's going to be a kind of stalemate. Each side is waiting to the other side, making a fault or making some kind of movement, which gives a good possibility to fire on. Yeah, it's interesting. I eliminated here a rifle squad with a joint fire of my machine gun and my rifles. So US side, I was able to shift in the bazooka team as a last reinforcement. Yeah, so you see loss 16 to 15, which is close to 20% of overall strength. We will see how this proceeds. Turn 5 is now over. And you see still in the south the tanks are still firing on each other with no harm, but I think it will not take long till there's a decision. And it was really a tough situation, still firing here, now supported with the M8, but no decision here for that objective. The same situation here, still firing, dealing some little damage, but not a deciding step. So loss situation is 16 to 15, so still the same. Yeah, turn 5 now. Germans got some more damage on the US, so they were able to fire on the unit, the rifles here in the objectives. They had to fall back after they got casualties. So now the objective hex is free to enter, They got to each other, but dealt no damage so far. On the south, still ongoing firing. Yeah, the M10 managed to suppress my Panzer 3J, so they were not able to counter the fire. And here they try and eliminated one more squad with joint fire. So now it's getting interesting in the last turns. Let's see what happens. Yeah, turn 7 was interesting. I made a hide action to crawl into the objective hex. Of course, the Greyhound was starting fire to my Panzer 4G without success, but the Wolverine managed to flip my Panzer 4G and damage it. But important is, of course, at the end of the game, who has the objectives, so it's okay for me to have this kind of trouble now. On the south, you see Panzer 3J got lost due to firing of the Wolverine, but deal some damage to the M10, and now it is decided. So the US part has initiative in the south. Let's see how this works out in the last turn 8. Yeah, I divided turn 8 into objective south. And you see here's the situation in start of the game, and I started to activate my M10 and move it into via the urban alley, via the objective hex. And of course I will counter this action with my rifle squad going into close combat now, because it's an open top vehicle. I have a good chance to throw some grenades in because it's urban area, so let's see. And I managed to deal damage and get rid of this M10, so now the objective is in the hands of the German rifle squad. The M10 was unlucky, dealt no damage to the rifle squad, so I'm lucky. But of course I went and activated my Cal 30 MG team with the support of the bazooka team, which is covering fire to the close combat here, to the hex. And you see the roll of the M30 Cal first round of close combat, 2 times a crit hit, and the Germans were not able to eliminate it with their defense. So a crit in a close combat flips the unit once, and the second flips again, but you have a 2-step unit, so this is eliminated. The Cal 30 managed to get rid of the rifles and occupies now the objective hex. I have a last chance to activate my machine gun here to fire in. Let's see what happens. And of course I made a really cool roll with my machine gun here, dealing a crit and really a heavy fire on that machine gun. They had some problems with defending this roll and got eliminated again, so the objective here in the south stays neutral. Nobody has an activation left for the south here to move in, so I assume end of turn 8 this will stay neutral. And you see here the result. So turn north, the northern objective, I got to use a hide action on the turn 7, so I captured this one. And of course the US side had one chance to move in with a infantry squad here, but they got fire from the sniper team, which brought them a fallback result, so they had to fall back from this clear area to the last they came, and they got suppressed, so no more chance to get into a close combat to bring in home this objective for the US side, so the German got it. And I had one last activation left to move on my half track via the urban alley here into the objective. So it's the last result, and in the last action I managed for the German side to gain all 3 objectives, which gives me a total victory and really cool surprising result at the end. So I'm quite happy to end this game with 3-0 points for the German Wehrmacht. Yeah, as a conclusion of this small scenario, worst encounter, you have close to 50% loss on both sides, which is quite plausible for this one-to-one engagement situation. I think the motorized formations were very helpful for both sides to get access in a quickly manner to the village. It would be interesting to play out if one side had not the possibility with the trucks and the half tracks, but yeah, it is like it is. It was nice, this kind of setup, and yeah, I'm happy how this played out. So if you liked it, just leave me a thumb or a comment, and see more in future. So happy to have you here. Bye bye.